64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy. Hello, and happy day. How does slowing down sound to you today? Would you like to reduce the noise for just a bit? Are you ready to make a choice and decide to listen? My name is Igor S.F. Walker. I am here to remind people to slow down, to reduce the noise, to walk their lives into a natural flow. Welcome back to the Book of the Week series. Every week, as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. Today, we look at Telomere Miracles, Scientific Secrets to Fight Disease, Feel Great, and Turn Back the Clock on Aging by Ed Park. In this video, we look at how the process of telomere erosion, essential driver in both illness and aging, works. Telomere Miracle delves deeply into the aspects of lifestyle that can mitigate this damage. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I haven't used that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you. What innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. Telomeres, from the Greek telo and mere, body, are protective caps of repetitive DNA at the ends of all your cells' chromosomes. Chromosomes are made up of specific sequences of billions of DNA molecules, assembled in matched parallel helical chains and then coiled up in the nucleus of the cell. DNA is the universal information coding system that somehow stores the directions for building and maintaining you and all life on Earth, except some viruses. If the telomeres are like the blank tape leader in old cassettes, then the music is the DNA between the telomere ends. The health and longevity of your telomeres is what holds the key to aging, or more importantly, not aging. But the loss of telomeres is also associated with nearly every known disease. At this very moment, many of your cells are dividing. They do this to replace dead cells. Indeed, throughout the day, you replace tens of billions of cells every day. And each time a cell divides, a little bit of the telomere on the tips of your DNA cannot be copied. So eventually, the blank tape leader in the descendants of these dividing cells will shorten to the point of no longer protecting the music. Loss of the blank tape produces chromosome mutation, and this in turn causes the cell to malfunction and die. Why should you care about telomeres? Well, what if I am right and there aren't 1,000 diseases that can inflict us? There's only one disease with 1,000 faces. Nearly all diseases can be understood as specific instances of one general principle at work. Telomeres shorten in stem cells, causing gene mutation, and that is why you should care about them. This enzyme is the basis of stem cell viability, plants and animals on Earth. So telomeres and telomerase are the alpha and omega when it comes to aging and health. What if diseases are simply the results of faulty cells? If we destroy the faulty stem cell and then replace them, we can reverse the disease. Unfortunately, medicine views most diseases as permanent conditions rather than temporary aberrations. And the orthodox treatments usually involve some drug that further locks or alters normal functioning. Nobody would buy a new car and then neglect oil changes and regular maintenance until it broke down, right? My point is that taking much better care of your body before it breaks down is simply a better strategy. What if we treated our bodies like priceless vintage cars, regardless of the previous maintenance and repair history? There are truly powerful actions you can take to slow and even stop the progression of aging as we know it. 6 cylinders that will power the engine of your optimal life. These 6 telomere tools, TMTs, are your breath, your mind, your sleep, your exercise, nutrition, and supplements. Gain insight on how to master your breathing, your thoughts, your sleep, your exercise, your nutrition, and your supplements. These are the 6 cylinders that drive the engine of a healthy life. And the goal is to get you firing on all cylinders. Learn a new paradigm of aging that allows for the possibility of growing younger and more vibrant as the years do pass. You improve your life from the inside out with conscious self-assessment and improvement of your 6 areas of telomere maintenance. Aging is the result of DNA damage enabled by the telomere shortening that occurs in stem cells over time. Axiom number 1. Telomeres always shorten when one cell divides into 2, and the telomeres become critically short, the cell malfunctions and or dies from resulting chromosome mutation. Axiom number 2. Non-stem cells cannot reproduce indefinitely. Axiom number 3. A daughter cell can only be as healthy, genetic integrity, or as young, telomere length, as the stem cell it came from. And axiom number 4. Stem cells can restore telomere length with telomerase. Hypothesis: aging is caused by the shortening of telomeres in stem cells. Therefore, if telomerase activity increases in stem cells, then telomere length will be preserved, and the effects of aging will be slowed and possibly reversed. Although it must be more complex in ways we cannot yet imagine at this moment, science believes that all the things we are come simply from the production of proteins. Proteins are long chains of molecules called amino acids that are assembled like beads on a string and then fold up like origami micro machines. Cell function or dysfunction depends on having the correct proteins made. Cell needs to constantly assemble and update the proteins for optimal structure and functioning. And for the most part, the proteins are for use only inside their cells of origin. Measurable telomere shortening is a statistical artifact based on a dynamic situation, like measuring the water level in 46 bathtubs that are being slowly drained. In this analogy, non-stem and stem cells can only drain some bathtubs, the mama queen stem cells are able to clone themselves with a full water level that actually gets refilled. Luckily, as with any good bathtub, there appears to be an overflow mechanism preventing the over-lengthening of telomeres, as we can infer from people who have taken telomerase activators without adverse effects for more than 9 years, and from certain trees that live happily for thousands of years with high telomerase activity. Telomere and stem cell theory of aging, axiom number 1. Telomeres always shorten when one cell divides into 2, and when telomeres become critically short, the cell malfunctions and therefore dies from the resulting chromosome mutation. Axiom number 2. Non-stem cells cannot reproduce indefinitely. Axiom number 3. A daughter cell can only be as healthy genetic integrity or as young telomere length as the stem cell it came from. Axiom number 4. Stem cells can restore telomere length with telomerase. Hypothesis: aging is caused by the shortening of telomeres in stem cells. Therefore, if telomerase activity increases in stem cells, then telomere length will be preserved, and the effects of aging will be slowed and possibly reversed. You see, to be competent, a physician doesn't learn about joint trauma, but rather the unique types of injuries to ankles, shoulders, and other tendons and joints. Doctors and scientists are required to master specific diagnoses and treatments, not to understand proper body alignment and injury prevention in general. In other words, most medical professionals, and most of us, do not look at the big picture, how your cells hold the key to avoiding all these signs, symptoms, and disease of aging. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it, said Upton Sinclair. Key points to remember: the benefits of your lifestyle choices are shown by science to be reflected by the health of your telomeres. Because of the mechanics of DNA replication, telomeres always grow shorter when cells divide. Ordinary non-stem cells must die. This is called the Hayflick limit, and it serves to protect us from expandable rogue cell lines that have become mutated or defective. Stem cells are capable of regrowing telomeres with telomerase, and in perfect condition, they can live forever, although we want damaged ones to die as well. When damaged stem cells don't die off, we get dysfunctional cells and are actually prone to cancer and disease. Telomeres are dynamic. They can lengthen or shorten the stem cells as a function of telomerase activation, overcopying, and environmental effects, aka how you live your life. And ordinary cells cannot be younger or healthier than their most recent stem cell parent. The health of your stem cells equals the health of your cells and your organs. The shortening of telomeres in stem cells causes aging, but it can be mitigated if telomeres in stem cells have adequate telomerase activation. If you could press your own Control-Alt-Delete and pull up the task manager of your brain right now, you might see programs such as peripheral vision, sounds to ignore, posture, muscles being used, temperature regulation, time awareness, hunger, bladder suppression, procrastination, regrets, fears, fantasies, and so on. What complicated, complex creatures we are. These programs are not static, like stored memory. They are flexible, purposeful, and logical, and for the most part, they're always on and running in the background. Now, the optimal functioning when it comes to exercise varies from person to person, and it basically boils down to finding out what sort of exercise works for you. That means identifying what's enjoyable, safe, but also challenging. The other part of optimal functioning with exercise is that when you do discover what you love to do, do it as often as you can. Choose wisely. You cannot have it all. If you decide you will do powerlifting, well, you won't be able to also follow a plan for becoming a great marathon runner. You learned about supplemental and conscious breathing, how it enhances presence, regulates blood pH, activates your endocannabinoid system by engaging the parasympathetic response. You learned how supplemental mindfulness tames your demons. It enhances your enjoyment of the moments that comprise your focused on supplemental sleep in the form of higher quality and quantity, and how this enhancement of rest engages a myriad of repair and restoration mechanisms in your mind and body. On exercise, how supplemental exercise destroys and rebuilds your body by increasing endorphins, anabolic hormones, cardiopulmonary efficiency, strength, flexibility, and calm. Finally, you learned supplementing your diet with more Mediterranean types of foods is thought to enhance telomere maintenance. What was the big idea of this book? That there is one simple, intuitive, and science-based unifying theory of aging and disease based upon telomere erosion and stem cells. The rate of erosion determines the rates of mutation, cell dysfunction, and depletion of healthy reserves. But thankfully, science suggests that erosion can be mitigated by healthy habits under your control. Even though there are thousands of studies showing that telomere dysfunction is related to poor health, shorter lives, and nearly all forms of disease and aging, experts resist this simple interpretation as stated. Young souls learn to accept responsibility for their actions. Mature souls learn to accept responsibility for their thoughts. And old souls learn to accept the responsibility for their happiness. We don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. So fix your perceptions and you fix your projections. How? You choose to emotionally meta-tag everything matters. It determines your story and how you experience life. And there you have it. Telomere miracle. Scientific secrets to fight disease, to feel great, and turn back clock on aging. Please do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. Share it too. Spread the word. Do comment and do share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel and stay up to date. And the link to this book is in the description below, so you buy it and you read and you never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website. Find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management even further, well then do check out my Master of Life Awareness program, The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.